The transformation of Yoichi Isagi in Barcelona. The birth of the neo-ideal playmaker. After making history in the neo-egoist league, not just as a standout player but as someone who reshaped the global perception of Japanese football, Yoichi Isagi received a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Personally handpicked by Jinpachi Ego, the mastermind behind the Blue Lock project, Isagi was sent for an exclusive 2-week private training camp in the heartland of footballing genius, Spain. And not just anywhere. He was placed in the epicenter of football aesthetics, FC Barcelona, a club that has forged legends, the birthplace of a footballing philosophy where art meets strategy, the cradle of tiki-taka. But this wasn't merely about improving physical or technical attributes. This was tactical alchemy, a mission to refine a footballing third eye, to transform Isagi from just a goal scorer or strategist into the central intelligence of the game, a neo-orchestrator. Barcelona, the school of footballing geniuses. Under the towering shadow of Camp Nou, Isagi began absorbing knowledge from the greatest minds to ever shape the game. It was here that he truly began to see football differently, not in terms of what's happening now, but what will happen in the next 2, 3, or even 4 seconds. Barcelona's philosophy, more than just tiki-taka. At its core, Barcelona's football philosophy isn't merely about keeping possession. It's about using the ball to manipulate time and space. Every pass is a decision. Every movement is a question asked of the defense. At Barcelona, Isagi learned that football isn't about individuality versus teamwork. It's about synergy, where the individual elevates the collective and vice versa. He absorbed the idea that you don't beat teams by overpowering them. You outthink them, overwhelm them with options, and wear them down with endless waves of controlled improvisation. Barcelona doesn't just teach you how to play, they teach you why. And for someone like Isagi, who always saw the game in layers, this training felt like a homecoming of the mind. In this section, we will speak about what skill will Isagi learn in his time in Barcelona, based on real player in real world, and based on Barcelona football philosophy. 1. Vision and positional mastery, the legacy of Xavi and Iniesta. Isagi learned to read space with razor-sharp precision. He realized that football isn't about who moves the fastest, it's about who sees first. He started mapping the pitch like an architect sketches blueprints, identifying invisible lanes, predictive movement patterns, and energy flows. His meta-vision, once the hallmark of his rise in Blue Lock, evolved. No longer was he just reacting to possibilities, then he began to shape them. Thus, a new layer was born, future line vision, the ability to carve paths into the future before they materialize, embedding destiny within every run and pass. 2. Progressive passing and the flow of tiki-taka, lessons from Messi and Pedri. In Barcelona, Isagi attuned himself to rhythm. He sharpened his one-touch passing, immersed himself in the triangle play ethos, and mastered off-ball movements so subtle it bordered on invisibility. Where Blue Lock was built on chaos and ego, Isagi became the anomaly, a thread weaving through the disorder. He no longer just created chances, he became the flow itself. Defenders struggled to anticipate him because everything he did was faster than they could process. He wasn't merely an attacker anymore. He was the central node in a complex web of movement and synergy. His passes weren't just technical, they were strategic, surgically threading through seams and compact defenses. He faded out of defenders' vision, only to reappear in their blind spots where he could inflict the most damage. 3. Tactical pressing and defensive orchestration, borrowing from Busquets. But vision and passing weren't enough. Isagi immersed himself in defensive orchestration, studying how to manipulate the opponent's rhythm, not through brute force, but with elegance. He learned to bait mistakes with barely noticeable movements, creating traps and controlling the tempo from behind the scenes. With smart pressing, he emulated Sergio Busquets, cutting off key passing lanes, redirecting the opponent's build-up into pre-planned ambush zones, and triggering lightning-fast transitions. In Blue Lock, this made him a defensive playmaker, the unseen spark behind every counterattack. 4. Finishing in tight spaces, the heritage of Messi and Lewandowski. Finally, Barcelona taught him to find clarity in chaos. Surrounded by towering defenders and closing angles, ISAGI honed his ability to strike from impossible positions. In microscopic windows of space, he trained both his mind and body to release clinical finishes with surgical timing. This was no longer raw instinct, like it was calculated. A blend of mathematical precision and primal killer instinct gave birth to a new style: calculated chaos. In the maelstrom of defenders and pressure, ISAGI found a strange kind of control. Other than that, for sure ISAGI will get the Ambidextrous awakening in Barcelona, and rediscovering a hidden weapon. Among the most surprising transformations during ISAGI's Barcelona experience will be the activation of his Ambidextrous skill, a weapon hinted at long before but never fully realized. ISAGI had shown glimpses of using his left foot throughout the series, from early passes in Blue Lock to crucial traps and even direct shots. Though most believed his right foot to be dominant, several subtle moments, particularly during the Blue Lock second selection and U20 match, revealed he was far more versatile than he let on. However, in Barcelona, that dormant ability could be finally polished into a lethal edge. Inspired by legends like Noel Noah, who ISAGI had admired since childhood, a player known for his complete two-footed control, ISAGI trained to strike, pass, and dribble with either foot as if it were his dominant one. The result? A player who could pass and shoot with total unpredictability. Defenders trained to force players onto their weak foot found themselves helpless, because ISAGI had no weak foot. Whether attacking from the left flank or center, whether pressing inside or peeling wide, he became fluid, adaptable, and multidimensional. This ambidexterity, refined under the pressure of Barcelona drills and their unforgiving precision, became the foundation of his evolution into a complete footballer. With all of that theory, so this is my prediction about ISAGI new skills. After 2 intense weeks in Catalonia, ISAGI Yoichi returned no longer just a striker, midfielder, or creator. He had become a new footballing archetype, a false 9 hybrid, a tempo controller, and a clinical finisher wrapped into one. His new nickname began to circulate among analysts and coaches: the Neo-Orchestrator. A player who doesn't just lead the play, he designs it. With the vision of Itoshi Sai, the efficiency of Rinatoshi, and the tactical disruption of Kaiser, ISAGI had transformed into a footballing entity beyond positional definition. Now he no longer plays just to win, he plays to redefine the game itself.